Okay. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. We're glad you're here. Thank you for joining us as we finish our exploration of embodying resilience. If you are a newcomer this morning, we'd like to extend a special welcome to you. We are so glad you're here. If you'd like to know about what's going on at the fellowship 7 days a week, please give us your email address. If you're here at the fellowship, you can fill out the blue welcome card, leave it on your chair, or give it to a greeter. If you're online, please go to the link in the chat to fill out our welcome card. Current members can use the welcome card to update their information too. We hope you'll stay here for coffee and conversation after the service so we can get to know each other, or stay online to chat on Zoom. Since we are here in a time of ministry and covenant, I'm told that people are to hold their applause until the end of the service and that jazz hands can work if you feel so moved. We can thank everyone for their contributions at the end of the service. Since this is the last Sunday of the month, we have a committee spotlight. I invite Therese Tien to tell us more about the nominating committee.
I'm pretending I have notes. I do not. Good morning. My name's Therese Tien, and I am a member of the nominating committee. Many may not have heard of us very often, but we're not very spicy for the most part. In the board, in our bylaws, the nominating committee is actually outlined. We are 5 members. We are elected by the congregation as a whole. We serve staggered 2-year terms. Currently, it is our own Just Joe, Debbie Blomer, Nan Sorrells, and Charles Ruffner. Our job is to slate candidates for leadership positions on the Board of Trustees primarily. So in reality, what does that mean? Well, long about December, January, right? Word goes up, coming in January or coming in June, for our new year of July 1st, these are the positions for us to go and recruit. So we gather up once with our list of individual targets, and if during that time you feel this odd tickle at the back of your neck, or you receive a vague email saying, hey, you got a minute, that's just us, don't worry. Once we have our slate of candidates, we declare mischief managed. We make a short list of what to anticipate the next year, and then we go back into the wild, talking, listening, visiting, so that the next year we do it again. And that is the nominating committee in a nutshell. Did I miss anything? I didn't think so. Thank you.
She makes it sound so cool, doesn't she? It's now time for announcements before the service starts. If you'd like to submit an announcement to be read, please write it on a slip of paper and bring it up. Feel free to raise your hand if you have a written announcement that you need us to collect. If you're on Zoom, put your announcements in the chat box at this time. There are always announcements on the back of your printed order of service, and we try not to repeat those verbally, although there's one I will repeat verbally. The same announcements are in the email that go out every Sunday morning, and more that don't fit on the printed sheet. The announcement I wanted to make is that the coldest night of the year walk for the warming center and Take Action Today is next Saturday. Our team is still collecting contributions. You can hand me money. You can hand Joni Bailey money. You can hand Gilletta Brandt money. If Susan Lutton's here, you can hand her money. We will take your money. after the service. Not right now, but anyway. And we're doing very well. So we just surpassed $3,000, but we'd like to do more. So thank you very much. Another announcement is that the Sunday service team wants everyone to be aware that our services are recorded on Zoom, paused for sorrows and joys, and then uploaded to the Cuff YouTube channel. With our current political climate, we want everyone to be aware of this. And now I'll ask us to please center ourselves with the music of our prelude. A note about our service plans this morning have changed slightly. The youth of this fellowship were out late last night partying in the RE, and they could not drag themselves in this morning for their skit. So we're all here, but the kids just couldn't do it. So we will not have time for all ages this morning, and hopefully we'll get to see their skit at a later Sunday. Welcome to the Carbondale Unitarian Fellowship, located on the unceded traditional lands of the first people of present-day Southern Illinois, the Miami, Osage, Kaskaskia, and Quapaw. This fellowship is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, sharing the good news of Unitarian Universalism with folks throughout this region. Our good news is a message of love, freedom, reason, respect, and justice as the basis for religious community. I'm Jess Job. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a member of some committees, and I put away some dishes this morning. And I am your Sunday service facilitator today. We are a congregation of open minds and hearts, all ages, all colors, all genders, all abilities, all kinds of wealth, and all kinds of love. Now I invite those of us who are online to select gallery view so we can wave at each other, connecting our congregation over space. Currently, CUF is lay-led, with the Sunday services team planning our services using the rich spirit and many talents of our congregation's members and friends. Anyone interested in contributing to a service, speaking at a service, please contact a member of the Sunday services team. In addition to members, services may include guest speakers and ministers. Please join us on Sunday mornings or at our Wednesday evening vespers on Zoom as we continue our search for a minister. We now have our first hymn. Please rise as you are willing and able to join us in singing We Shall Overcome. It's number 169 in the gray hymnal, and the words will be on the screen, and Jan will lead us. For our chalice lighting today, I will share The Soft, Stubborn Practice by Reverend Michelle Collins. Come to this time of worship worn, weary, or wide awake. In this gathering, we acknowledge the pressure of living, the tender ache of persisting through uncertainty, the courage of continuing when clarity is distant. Yet here we are, still breathing, still reaching, still becoming. Today, let us embody resilience together, not as armor, but as the soft, stubborn practice of returning to ourselves, to one another, and to the work of love. Our chalice is lit. Now, with intention, Jan will place a pebble in our bowl of water, letting it ripple out beyond our knowing. All are invited to do the same here at the fellowship, at home or at home, to mark a joy, a sorrow, or any other feeling you have during the musical parts of this service. And now is the time in our service that we will share our sorrows and our joys in fellowship. I now have a reading to share called Considering Resilience by Rosemary. Today, I talk to the broccoli sprouts. I kneel down beside their bed. You can do it, I tell them. I don't mention that every summer there is a hailstorm that will puncture and tear their leaves, that bits of their green will litter the soil. Though the sprouts are less than half an inch tall, the leaves already look tough, like thick four-leaf clover. The hail, though, will be tougher. Perhaps I don't want to tell myself how tough things will get. Would rather encourage, would rather play, would rather revel in the day's sun. But today there's no lying to the self. The inner hail has already come. My leaves hang in tatters. All around me, flower petals are fallen, scattered. Out of season, widespread wreckage. There is an inner knowing, though, one that needs no one else to encourage it. It knows to grow despite the damage, to grow because damage, to grow. It knows to grow because that is what we are here to do. Our new leaves coming in to support the old, to support the whole, every bit as vulnerable and green, so green. We now have a second hymn. Please rise as you're able and willing to join us in singing Spirit of Life. It's 123 in the gray hymnal, and the words will be on the screen, and Jan will lead us.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I now invite Ann Levin to share her message on bouncing, not breaking.
Good morning. As I started putting thoughts on paper about our theme of resilience, I first looked up the meaning of the word in the interest of being precise and accurate. Resilience is defined in several ways: as the quality or state of being physically strong, as the capacity of an object or a substance to withstand great force or pressure, as the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, or very simply as toughness. I listened for the word, paying attention to when and how it was used. I heard it in ads for fitness programs, athletic training, gyms, in descriptions of recovery resources, both physical rehabilitation and mental health treatment, and oddly, in ads for hair care products. Apparently, we need to have really resilient hair as we get older. I didn't know this, and now I'm worried whether my hair is resilient enough. So more on that later. So key aspects of resilience include adaptation, which can be defined as adjusting to difficult circumstances, bouncing back or recovering from setbacks, regaining health, growth, which implies not just returning to baseline, but gaining strength, and learned skills, which can be practiced and improved over time. Resilience may start with just toughing it out, but hopefully it does not end there. Resilience can be impacted by external strengths like social support and internal strengths such as a sense of purpose. Since I'm speaking about the concept here in this faith community, I want to share thoughts about how religion and faith might affect our ability to be resilient. Now, in my view, and for purposes of these remarks, religion and faith are not interchangeable. Religion, the way I view it, is organizational. It's usually creed-based. It's identified with concrete places and specific people who are seen as representatives of that religion. For me, faith is our personal belief system. It's usually fluid. It's not necessarily identified by a physical location or by human leadership. Religion may be seen as the structure that we give our personal faith and the way we try to connect with people whose faith is similar to our own. Religion often has a really significant investment in efforts to evangelize. Faith may or may not have this component. Both religion and faith, though, are sometimes thought of as being very firm and unyielding and as a source of strength. Now, religion sometimes encourages us to aspire to a childlike faith, innocent, unquestioning. If this worked, if we really could hold that faith and trust, if we could really hold that kind of faith and trust that religion and religious leaders and scripture had all the answers, it might make life easier, less complicated, but an honest, clear-eyed understanding of our complex world makes it hard to hold that kind of faith. In thinking about what it would be like to hold and to adhere to that kind of faith, let's think for a moment about children. If nurtured and cared for and safe, children first learn to connect emotionally with their primary caregivers, parents usually, but whoever those caregivers might be. And babies don't have the capacity to question their caregivers. But then this period of development called the terrible twos comes along. We know it can start before a child is 2, and it certainly can last a lot longer. But that's the beginning. We kind of give that phrase to the beginning of that rupture of that very pure faith. But it's normal. So in normal human development, doubt and questioning and assertion of a separate identity start quite early. So think of who you might be if you never began to question your parents. Think of who your children might be if they never started to question you, if you are a parent. If you held beliefs identical to those your parents held, would you be a better person now? Would you be the person you are now? Would you be better able to bounce back from adversity? I know for me, the answer is no. And that is not because my parents did me any harm. It's not because they did not love me. It means their answers were formed for their life experience. My life is different, and those answers just wouldn't work for me. The Gospel of Matthew advises that we must become like children to enter the kingdom of heaven. I'm going to respectfully disagree. Another theological framework that's popular among certain groups of Christians in our country, and maybe elsewhere in the world, but certainly here, is called the prosperity gospel. It teaches basically that God wants believers to be physically healthy, financially wealthy, and happy, happy, happy. And it teaches that faith and positive confession, which is also sometimes called naming and claiming blessings, and of course, donations to their ministries will help you have these, blessings of divine favor. Is that a path to resilience? Well, I'm going to say I don't think so. That faith might feel really great when everything's going well. But a belief that good fortune is a sign of being blessed and rewarded can create a lot of distress and a huge disconnect when the center falls apart and things don't hold. And that always happens. That always happens. So that faith is not realistic. It's not sustainable. It's a pretty picture, but it's drawn in chalk. So a hard rain can erase it. So these examples are just used to make a point about faith. Some religions teach us that faith requires a lot of certainty. It leaves little room for doubt. Those whose faith depends on certainty or on the evidence of the goodwill of a supreme being may find resilience to be in short supply when the hard times come. And it seems more and more people are rejecting religion as we have traditionally known it. And as a country, we seem to be, to paraphrase a song, losing our religion. A recent article in The Atlantic reports that 40 million Americans have stopped attending church in the past 25 years. I'm among that number. That's about 12% of the population, and that represents the largest concentrated change in church attendance in American history, according to this article. So somehow our traditional religious framework is not holding us. It's not sustaining us or feeding us. It's not working for more and more of us. I believe this reflects the experience of some, maybe many, in our community here. Now, that article also indicates that participation in a religious community generally correlates with better health outcomes, greater financial generosity, not greater wealth, but greater generosity, and more stable families. So, in rejecting, as many of us have done necessarily, that more traditional framework, we might be losing some benefits of having that framework and that fellowship. So, where do we find faith if not in that traditional religion? How do we define faith and make it a source of strength for ourselves and our families and our communities? How do we build resilience? Resilience implies being malleable, flexible, bouncy. How does our UU faith support and build resilience? Well, I believe that the root of this is in the wonderful gift of a covenant-based faith rather than a creed-based faith. Our UU faith does not in any way promise that we will be protected or blessed, healed or saved. In fact, thankfully, it does not even tell us that we need to be saved. It instead brings us love, respect, support, assistance, and fellowship as we navigate hardship. This helps us to be resilient because our expectations are reasonable. We don't have disappointment or a feeling that we've sinned or failed in some way because we're experiencing hardship. We carry with us, as part of our faith, the idea of the worth of every human life, and that includes each and all of us ourselves. And it helps us to reject the notion that we're being punished by God or that we're in any way less than when we suffer or when we struggle. We're accepted and we're allowed to grow through those challenges. In fact, that is what UU requires. Not being creed-based does not mean we don't have responsibilities. When we sign our covenant, we are promising to treat one another and others outside of the fellowship in a certain way, again, with respect and recognition of the worth of each individual. This support and care contributes to the resilience that we each can then draw on when we face the difficulties that we're going to inevitably encounter. Bill Sasso said in his remarks last week, together is fundamental to our resilience. And I absolutely agree with that, so I stole it. Thank you, Bill. So having wiggle room, tolerance for doubt and questioning, that can then help what we used to maybe consider a crisis of faith to become instead an opportunity for growth and change. In a traditional religious framework, at least as I experienced it, expressions of doubt about the nature of God or the existence of God, or less than full alignment with the groupthink might not be greeted with deep listening, open minds, or open hearts. But that is how those things are greeted here. Questions and doubt mean we're thinking, and that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. We don't have to fear that we will be rejected or judged. If a crisis of faith occurs and it can't be resolved, and it's not possible to return to a creed or a statement of faith, sometimes it's necessary for folks to leave that traditional religious congregation that they've come to know and love as they reconsider their beliefs. But this fellowship doesn't require that. This fellowship will remain welcoming and supportive, and having stable social support is a huge pillar of resilience. I recently saw a really clever meme on social media. It was absolutely a dig at the gun lobby and certain politicians, but I think it can be used generally still. It simply read, "Thoughts and prayers when you care enough to do the very least." It's appropriate, I thought. And our faith asks so much more of us than that. Our faith is a faith of works and action. Our faith asks us to provide tangible, real, practical help. We do that in many ways, through Feed My Sheep, the Pastoral Friends, Reproductive Justice Group, the Green Team, helping in the kitchen on Potluck Sunday, helping in the office, running the AV for the service, the monthly opportunities to contribute to charitable organizations in the community. The recent demonstrations against our current administration have practically felt like a fellowship gathering. We're so well represented there. I'm so proud to be part of an organization that shows up. We are active in our communities. We are there. We are present. We are speaking up and speaking out. It means a lot. Our services here are intended to inspire action, to feed us here so we can then go out there and serve. We can serve each other here as well, but to go outside of these walls and serve. We don't hold the New Testament as creed, as noticed or as noted earlier, but we are following the directive of the Apostle Paul in 1 John 3:18 when he said, "Let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth." That is really good. I'm going to repeat it. Let us not love with words and speech, but with actions and in truth. The Apostle Paul said a whole lot of stuff that I cannot get behind. Like, for example, that thing about women being silent in church. But I like this one. He did good this time. So our individual and group contributions to our greater community help us to face adversity with a sense of worth and purpose. And this helps us to navigate hardship. Love becomes toxic when it excuses abuse. Patriotism becomes toxic when it squashes dissent. And faith becomes toxic when it silences questioning and doubt and when it fails to serve. And we are succeeding on those counts, I believe, and I'm glad. Our theme for January was resistance. There is a lot of resisting that needs to be done right now. And to do it, we need resilience. Samuel Beckett wrote in his play, The Unnameable, "I can't go on, I'll go on." Those two statements don't seem to go together, but Beckett is saying that not going on is simply not an option. It's vitally important at this time, at this moment in history, that we be able to go on. A community marked by sincere love, sharing what we have from each according to their ability and to each according to their need, generously serving our neighbors, supporting one another, reminding one another that we are all loved, respected, and infinitely valued, helps us to be resilient and to go on when giving up is not an option. So in conclusion, when we fall, having a soft place to land is a very good thing. Resilience or bouncing back is easier when you land on something with some give. Landing on a rock, not so good. Unyielding, hard faith may not be helpful. Resilience helps us to bounce back when we fall. I find this fellowship to be a soft landing pad, a place of tolerance, a system of belief, action, and interaction that allows for wiggle room. It helps me to be resilient, and I hope it does so for you all as well. In conclusion, I just want to say I'm happy to be here and to thank you for helping me to bounce instead of break.
We are very happy to have you as a part of our community, Ann. Thank you for that. Elena will now share the postlude with us. Thank you, Elena. We have so many people to thank, everyone in this service, folks here, folks on Zoom, and we finally get to use our actual hands for clapping. I want to thank Anne for her very, very powerful message. Thanks to our chief secret agent, Teresian, for telling us about the nominating committee. Thanks to Elena for stepping up even more so this morning for her music and being the accompanist. Thank you to Jan for being our hymn leader. Thank you to the ever humble Gilletta and Jill, our AV hosts. Thank you to Rhonda and Bill for greeting, and Max and Bill for collecting our generosity this morning. And thanks to me for showing up. All right. Please rise as you are willing and able, and hold hands or hold your palms out for our benediction. This is Even When the Going Gets Rough by Reverend Linda Barnes. May you embrace, oh, look at that. I love that. Okay. May you embrace your growing with compassion. May courage be yours as you answer your heart's calling. May beauty and wonder be yours even when the going gets rough. And may love always be at your center. Blessed be, go in peace with love for justice. Amen. Well done. Thank you.